Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with horse racing tips for Tuesday, the 1st of October. Well, happy October, everybody. Yeah, anyway. So, let me get into it. So, Monday's selections. Well, we had a non-runner. We had a 14 to 1 place that the commentators said, I can't speak. I'd just like to apologise now. I've got an absolute blinding headache. So let's start again. A quick recap on Monday's performance. So we had a non-runner. We had a very disappointing favourite that was relatively well backed. I think, did we get at 9 to 2 or 4s? Went down to 3s and it was travelling well throughout, just didn't find anything under pressure. I took my eye off it actually, and I actually thought it was the one in the lead, but it wasn't. Finished unplaced. We had another selection, Reputation, that was the commentator couldn't wait to say either beat or well beat. It was just coming on the outside. I didn't think it was going to grab fourth in the end, but it did. It flew at the finish. In my opinion, I think it's an 11 or 12-year-old. I think it was 11-year-old drawn 12. The horse was running well. I do believe there's at least another race in it. Obviously, conditions weren't quite to suit with having the wide draw, but I did think it was in good enough form to actually run well. And well, on this rare occasion, I was proved right. It came fourth, I think it was, at 14 to 1, but I think it returned 15 to 2 in the end, so it was fancied slightly. And the other Ruth Cole horse, both horses fast finishing, was Dumfries, at 11 to 1. I think it was steady 11 to 1 or 12 to 1 throughout. Another placed horse. So, yeah, um, disappointed about the disappointing favourite, but you can't do anything about that. I didn't see what it actually returned in the end because I ended up placing one of my free bets on Reputation, so I don't know what the total returns were. Was it money back or was it not quite money back? I'm not sure. But let me get on to Tuesday's selections. Well, before I do, right, do me a massive favour. I can smell something good or sense something good, not smell something, for Saturday with Redcar. It's absolutely tiddling it down outside. Don't get me wrong, I live nowhere near Redcar races. However, I have been watching the weather. That's how sad I am. I've been watching the weather at work, and just as I went for a break, it went a bit cloudy about 10:30, and it's been raining ever since about 12:30, 1 o'clock. It's still raining now, but not how it is in Nottinghamshire. But it's given out rain all night in Redcar, and well, I think it clears up for a very short time. I'm talking a couple of hours, and then the sea. This headache is killing me. The rain heads out to sea, and then it takes it does a U-turn, and it comes back on Tuesday, stroke Wednesday morning, um, and they get another good soaking, although not as much as what they're getting now. I believe, well, in fact, I don't know. I'm not going to guess what the ground is, but I believe we could do pretty well on Redcar. I can tell you the draw bias. I just can't tell you the winners, but I will give you the selections on Saturday, Friday night for Redcar based on what I believe this time around will be a huge draw bias. If you're new to the channel, it should be if the stalls are drawn in the centre and it's slow ground, there should be a massive advantage to low numbers. Not purely, but partly due to the car keep driving over it. It doesn't take a genius to see what's happening. Whether that's done deliberately, I don't know, or whether they've got no other choice. Maybe the ambulance takes that route and all. I've got absolutely no idea. So, as promised, as I was going to say, subscribe to the channel, and you'll get is you'll get the video as soon as I publish it. Because I think the interesting thing is, I think you'll need to take the prices at Redcar on Saturday because I think they'll come crashing down because we know we've got the advantage. Not everybody is cotton on to the draw, and if you get some fancied favourites drawn high, hopefully we can get them beat and get some tasty prices in the places. Anyway, let's get on to Tuesday's racing. Well, I've gone to Sedgefield and I've gone to Newcastle. and I can't see a thing because I ain't got my glasses. So this should be interesting. So it's a 10 small. These are small stakes because it's shocking racing. I like the look of them, but I'm not getting too excited. 10 pence each way, lucky 15, and a 50p each way accumulator. If all four come plays, that accumulator makes a nice little bet. So the first selection is Sefton Warrior in the 150 at Sedgefield, paying 4 places instead of 3. Sefton Warrior is trained by John Joseph Hanlon. I think he sent 2. He sent one in another race, which is a much shorter price. I think he could well be looking for a double, but I do think this one has got a decent chance. Yeah, and that's top and bottom on it really. Just running into a little bit of form. I think it ran at Worcester last time, but I'm not going to talk too much about it. I've had a look at it. I like the look of it, and I think it's got a chance. The second selection is My Friend Yeats at 130 in the 335 at Sedgefield. This horse is owned by John Wade. I looked at the breeding of this horse, and this horse wants about. It's running over 2.5 miles tomorrow, and it wants about 4.5 miles. The sire and the dam sire both. When I see these numbers on the breeding, one's 13 furlong, one's 12, it tells me that they normally want about 3 mile. Well, it's been point to pointed, and what I was concerned about is that they're just running for a handicap mile. But I think they've spotted a weak race where they believe they can take it, and why not pick up? I think it's 4,700. So it's a worthy prize because the prize money isn't fantastic for this kind of racing on the national racing. So I think it's got a decent chance. My concern is I think it's had 70 days off. Not quite sure why, but I do like the look of it. It's normally held up towards the rear, but I think once it comes through, it'll be hard. What we don't want it to do is to turn into a sprint because the Ben Pauling horse could be quite decent. It started at some short prices recently, in its career, and it could have a bit more talent than these. But if it turns into a bit of a slog, I don't know what the weather's like. Cause I'm not traded up there. I don't need to go into too much detail up there. But if there is a drop of rain, it will suit our horse. The third selection is where I think they've got the price wrong, but no matter, look, it'll probably return 50s. So I've gone for Mead Gold at 12 to 1 in the 5 o'clock at Newcastle, paying 4 places instead of 3. There's so many question marks over a lot of these horses. You've got a lot that have just stepped up to 1 mile 2 and ran well, but then they've won over 1 mile 2, and you're thinking, well, can they still stay out the trip? See out the trip. Now they've been upped in the weights. You've got some that are generally 7 furlong to milers. You've got you've got one that was been running over 6 furlong, stepped up to a mile, and now it's over a mile and 2. And I've seen this Mead Gold. So it's trained by David and Nicola Barron. They're doing okay this last year. I won't say fantastic, but they're doing okay. Its first 3 runs were on the all-weather, 1 at Southwell, I think, and 2 at Newcastle. It was then gelded, and then it's had a steady campaign on the flat, no, not the flat, the turf and the all-weather. And to be honest, it's just confusing because you're trying to work out what its favourite trip is. But I actually think when it was raced over a mile and 2, it just didn't want the good firm ground. And when it's run over further, I think it wants a mile and 2, and it's got that tomorrow. It's drawn wide, which is not ideal, but I do think it's got a decent chance. And I think Lewis Edmonds on it. Not that that makes any difference. Yeah, he is. Lewis Edmonds on it. Not a bad jockey. And I just think 12 to 1 in a race with so many doubts over so many horses, it's got a chance. And finally, Leali at 10 to 1 in the 6 o'clock at Newcastle, paying 4 places instead of 3. I've gone for this horse pretty much purely for the fact that I'm sure I tipped it recently. It was squeezed out at the start, and never had a chance, although not beaten too far. I think it was beaten 4 3/4 lengths. I think this horse, barring any mishap at the start again, has got a decent chance of at least running a place. It's trained by John Butler, ridden by Daniel Muscat. Marmite Muscat, you either love him or hate him. And to be fair, just to contradict that, I'm not fussed. It makes no odds to me. I don't mind him. I know a lot of people moan about Daniel Muscat, but those are the 4 selections. So it's a 10 pence each way, lucky 15, and a 50p each way accumulator. Some nice returns if they all come placed. So I wish you the very best of luck. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.